welcome back to another Dragonstorm Studios video. And today we're looking at part 3 of our session, drawing a Beast Boy versus Nega Beast Boy picture, which really ended up being more of a King Kong versus Raptor sort of image when we're all said and done. Really happy with the end result. It's amazing what a difference the shading makes in a picture, and I can't stress enough just how important it is that you persevere in your own drawings, because let's face it, back in video number 1 a couple of weeks ago, it really didn't look that impressive, and yet here we are today looking much more impressive when we're finished with all of the textures and values in our work. And I'm still going to probably add some more texture here to the skin of the Raptor, but wow, just so dynamic, so impactful. However, I gotta say that there's one thing which is really missing, which is lacking in the picture, and that is a background. Right now you've got some amazing imagery going on, but it doesn't really tell us where the battle is taking place, what's going on, where the environment is, and that's what the background really will do to add to this picture. So, I mean, my first thought when it comes to any kind of gorilla scene has to do with a jungle. So when I think back to the original King Kong, way back in I should have looked this up, 1937, 1933. I'll double check that for you and post it right here. In that one, there was a lot of jungle. So that's what I think I'm going to go for this picture. And I really probably should have thought of this ahead of time, but I didn't. So this is the point where I'm going to add that jungle scene in to my work. So I might have, for example, a tree kind of over here just to help fill this negative space in the top right corner. And because this is not King Kong, but just a Godzilla, the tree will be fairly large, and that holds two purposes. Number one, I can take up more space with that tree, which is what we want. We want to be able to use up that negative space effectively, but it also gives me a sense of scale. So it's not obviously King Kong, it's a regular sized Godzilla. So we can have a tree coming up here, and it's going to have some branches that literally branch out in all sorts of directions over here. And then we'll have some other foliage over here, some bushes and other leafy bits, and then we'll have maybe a bit of a cliff, as if the gorillas jumped off that cliff toward the Raptor, kind of surprising the Raptor, taking Nega Beast Boy by surprise. And you've got some more foliage over here, and then you've got some background maybe over here as well. Maybe you've got another tree or something going off over here, some more foliage, and then again some leafy bits over here where the leafy bits overlap the cliff a little bit. All right, and I think that will look really nice with our image there. I think in terms of adding backgrounds, I think they're important. I think backgrounds will give a sense of location to your scene, but I don't usually put a lot of stock into them in terms of really thinking them through. Some people do, and that's fine, and please feel free to if you think that's more important. I've always liked backgrounds, but I've never really made them the most important part of my picture. I think the subject is most important, and that's a personal thought. And if you disagree, please feel free to comment in the comments below. Let me know how the background is more important than the subjects if you feel that way. And I'm not going to say you're wrong. It's a personal opinion, and I think that I like the subject. I like the focus of the picture. And to me, although the background is important, certainly it gives a sense of location and environment to the scene. I don't think it's more important than the actual characters involved. And again, that's personal opinion. It's the characters characterization is something, even in movies or in TV shows. Some people feel that the story is more important than the residual background, and that's fine too. It depends really on your point of view. I don't want you to think that your opinion is wrong. It's just different from mine, perhaps. That's totally fine. So as I start adding some texture in here, I'm thinking about the light source, and the light seems to be coming from this direction where you've got the lighter areas in the chest and up here at the top of the raptor. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm shading in. It's going to be darker here away from the light source than it is maybe up here where the light's hitting more directly onto our tree. And we've done some work with drawing trees before in the past as well. And we can certainly look back on some of our previous videos for some inspiration in that regard. So liking how it's looking so far. The foliage itself, I think a lot of it is just light and dark. So I'm going to create leafy sort of shapes using the side of my pencil to help me out with that. And I'm going to need to just sharpen a little bit here. And here I'm using a B pencil. B stands for bold. It's not like a 2B or 3B, it's just a regular B. It's dark, so darker than an HB pencil, but it's not so dark that I'm gonna be able to, I'm not gonna be able to erase anything when I'm finished. So I'm giving myself the opportunity to still make changes, but I want these nice dark areas here. I don't want it too dark though, because I don't want to lose all of this detail here that I put into the fur of our gorilla. So I'm just kind of working out where these dark areas are and where the lighter areas show up around them. And that's going to be my focus for most of the rest of this foliage here. So that kind of shows you how I get started on that. And again, if the light source is coming from up here, it's going to be darker away from the light source. So I'm going to actually keep up the same pattern, the same kind of overlapping back and forth motion with dark and light, and we'll see how that turns out. All right, and to end this series, I think we can safely say that adding a background really did just give an environment to the scene. It gave it a little bit more of a sense of like locale, like this is a battle which is happening in a jungle environment, maybe like more of a swampy sort of place. I'm not quite sure why Beast Boy would be fighting Nega Beast Boy here, but I think just the Raptor versus Gorilla made it work. I'm really happy with the result. I think I neared the point where it was almost too busy a background, which is why the sky is kept kind of just graded in a grayscale. No detail there, just because I think it would have been too much otherwise. I run the risk over here of just having a bit too much going on. And I think that was maybe even stepping over that line, which is fine, I think. I mean, it's an experiment, trying something new. And let's face it, if it was in a swampy sort of environment, it would be a busy background after all. But I'm really happy with the end result, especially how it didn't look all that great, I don't think, in video number 1. So I'm pleased with the fact that, once again, just that idea that art doesn't look good till it's finished really did kind of pan out. And I like the way that the, can't quite see it there. I like the way that the stripes in the Raptor turned out. And I've got some even down here in the legs as well. Just kind of giving it a bit more interest to the scene. So happy with that. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did like it, please feel free to give it a like, share it with friends. If there's something you're not happy with in the picture, maybe you think I did go too far with the background, making it too busy, let me know in the comments and let me know what you think. I love to hear your thoughts. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please let me know. I'm very glad to take on requests. So thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day.